In this video, we will be demonstrating how to install a Jdeation pigtail cut template and a Jdeation label kit design. So this video assumes you've already found or created the design you want. Here's one that I'm going to demonstrate on today for a Budbox large side panel. And if you don't like how this is arranged, which most people will want to make customizations, that's kind of the whole purpose of this, you just go and click on this edit design button and you can change anything in this design before you start to install it. And so, but this one I've got, I kind of like how it is. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to download, and I'm going to download the PDF, and we're going to use this today as our whole cut template. And so I'm going to do this, and then it's very important when opening a PDF that you actually open it in Adobe Acrobat Reader. So I am going to go ahead and open this in Adobe Acrobat Reader because that will essentially ensure that you print to scale. I've shown this in other videos. I'm going to print, and we're going to come down here to poster size. This is not going to fit on one piece of paper, and then we are going to print this. And then also we want to go ahead and download as well the PNG that we're going to use for our vinyl cutter software. PNG. Alright, so now we have downloaded everything we need, and we'll kind of go back over here and we will now hop over to the table and show you how to install these. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is we need to create the hole cut template so we can drill our holes. This is, I remember I printed this out on PDF, and really the only part we care about right now is this part, but we still need to tape this thing together at the cut marks you see here. So I'm going to discard this for a second. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to look at where your holes are, and then you want to look inside at your mounting kit and make sure that you're going to have plenty of clearance. So I'm probably going to raise that up to about there, so I should have plenty of clearance there. But again, you want to check your holes to make sure they're not going to hit the plate. I should be good with how I've done this, but if you see a clearance problem, you just need to go back into the designer and adjust your holes a little bit. So then let's go ahead, and since I like this, let's go ahead and take this out for a second, and we'll cut these holes. So I'm just using a regular wood bit, line it up in the center of the hole. Since making this video, I've actually decided that a step drill bit is 1000% better than using a wood drill bit. So if you're watching this video, learn from my mistakes, use a step drill bit. I am in Silhouette Studio. This is my vinyl cutting software. You may use different software for your vinyl cutter. This is the one that I use. We're going to start by importing the PNG that we downloaded from the Jdeation designer. And then from here it's a very simple process. I'm using the trace feature. I'm going to select by color. I'm going to select just the blue areas, all areas, And then for the tolerance, this is where you need to zoom in, and this is all personal preference. So the small, at least with, again, silhouette, the smaller the tolerance, the more choppy your letters will feel, but the more distinct they will. I like the letters to be a little fuller, so I'm gonna make mine 20. And again, this is personal preference. And then we're just gonna do a trace. And then we should be able to delete that and now be able to see this is the cut lines. One other thing, so you see when I'm selecting, it's selecting everything. I want to release the compound path that these things are separated, because for today's demonstration I'm only going to use the bottom vinyl label kit. So I've deleted the larger one that I don't need, and then I'll move this up here. Alright, and then that is it, and we are ready to send it to the vinyl cutter at this point. Okay, now we are going to print off the vinyl labels. Again, I'm using a little silhouette machine. There's a zillion of them on the market. If you don't own a vinyl cutter, I guarantee your wife wants you to own a vinyl cutter. Things are pretty handy, so just line this thing up. Okay, and it's done, and it looks pretty good. So now we need to do a step called weeding. Weeding is the process of removing the excess vinyl so that only the portion that you want to stick on the enclosure. So I'm just going to cut out the general size of this to make, so I can save this extra vinyl for later. And then the tools of the trade on this are an X-Acto knife, in my opinion. And then you just very, very carefully peel off the excess vinyl. So the key to weeding is you want to peel this off and keep the actual part you're saving on the bottom. So you want to just kind of go nice and carefully here. So that's the outside. And then the inside is really what's going to be tricky. Using our X-Acto knife. Because when you get to these little letters, like where we had the power and the network letters, you got to be real careful. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera. You want to kind of go at a sharp angle. There's a million YouTube videos on how to weed vinyl. Million. I'm not an expert, so that's kind of cool. So then you got to come back in and you got to remove like the middle of like the O's, and this is why this X-Acto knife is so good. Okay, that's good. So then, depending, I'm using just adhesive vinyl. They make different kinds of vinyl. They make heat transfer, which actually might be a little easier to use, quite frankly, for this application, but this is the most common vinyl. And with this kind of vinyl, you have to use what's called transfer tape. So I've got a giant roll of transfer tape here. Just gonna peel off a little bit. Seems like enough. And The idea, and I'll show you again, there is literally a million YouTube videos, but you just want to stick this transfer tape to the vinyl. We're just going to cut this off first, and then we'll really get it stuck on there good in a second. So you really want to get this transfer tape. It's only thing you really want it to stick to is these letters in this outside. You want it to stick to the vinyl because the rest we're going to peel off. So really making sure this is stuck good is important. And then, so now we've got it on the vinyl, on the transfer tape. And then the idea is to peel the backing off the vinyl and leave, hopefully, the vinyl stuck to the transfer tape. And you're probably not going to be able to see this, but this is the trickiest part for sure, because as stuff peels off, maybe it's easier to see if I do it like this. As stuff peels off, you got to make sure. See, you want all the black now to stick to the vinyl or to this transfer tape. And if it doesn't, you just got to get your little. It won't. And so when you get stuck, you just got to get your X-Acto knife and kind of stick it up underneath there. And I know, again, there is a zillion videos. I am not the expert on this. I am a novice. The great news is, even a novice can do cool things with vinyl. It's so easy. Voila! Alright, and so now we have it on the transfer tape. Hopefully you can see that. And then we're going to come over here and we got to get this. Again, we want to get the letters really stuck on there because now the next task is to get the transfer tape off. There's other mechanisms for applying vinyl. There's what's called a butterfly method, which is actually, if you've got a large vinyl sticker, is the best way to do it. Just look up YouTube videos for that. But this one was small enough that it was pretty straightforward. So again, just want to make sure the vinyl is stuck really, really well, because so I think that's good. And then the idea is to peel off the transfer tape and leave the vinyl stuck. So again, we're going to get our X-Acto knife, and if any of these little letters stick, which they're doing really well, so it doesn't appear to be a problem. Look at that. How cool is that? That turned out really well. I'm pretty excited about that. Then obviously we put in all of our glands, you know, and but you know, there it is. It's ready to go. So this is the Jdeation. This is the Jdeation cut hole template, right? So that we used it to cut the holes. You could use that all by itself, and also our new label, vinyl label creator, which is really, really cool. Tons of possibilities on what you can do with this thing. Thank you very much.